Welcome back, guys. Look what finally arrived. Man, that was really heavy. Oh, okay. Time to unbox. It's probably not gonna matter. So once I tip it over, all right, let's see. It's gonna be a little awkward here trying to do all this. Okay, all this wrapping paper. But yeah, first look. That's the first look, guys. That is beef. Beefaroni. Beef. Beefy. Beefy. Beef Master. Oh yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Beef. Okay. Well, no studs. I'm a little disappointed for now. But I'm sure it's somewhere here. I'll look for it here in a little bit. Okay, I just wanted to show how beefy this rough stuff axle housing is compared to the stock Toyota axle housing for the 3rd gen Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road and TRD Pro models, which is an 8 3/4. This thing is really crazy beefy. All the gusseting in here, thick 1/4 inch at least, and then these tubes are 3/8, so it's definitely beefed up compared to the stock. So the plan of attack right now is to first weld on the spring purchase, and after I do that, then I'm going to go ahead and weld the lower shock tabs for the shock mounts, and I want to set it up high because I do have 12-inch shocks, which has a lot of travel, but I just don't want to bottom out on it. So I'm going to set up the shock tabs a little higher because those leaf springs have a lot of droop, and I don't want to use the shocks as a way to bottom out. And then after I do that, then I'm going to go ahead and weld the Rock Slayer off-road truss and pinion guard. So it's a pretty unique setup that you'll see. I haven't seen anything like it anywhere else, but maybe there's something out there. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and, as you see, I got the calipers for the 4th gen Tacoma because I'm using the Range Industries to do a disc brake conversion. As you see, those ones over there are from the 3rd gen Tacoma drum brakes, so I'm gonna have to cut those things and set it up to accept the 5th gen Tacoma rotors. Then I'll spray paint it and show you how it flexes, and hopefully everything goes well. But I'm going to do this very meticulously, making sure that everything is set up properly. So stay tuned. Okay, I just cut this off and cut that part off that was here. because it's not needed. And then you see this fill plug here for the diff. That goes right there, as you can see, and it's not really well protected, right? So I want to have some insurance there, so that's why I cut off this little piece of pipe and grinded it down, and that is what I'm gonna weld on here, basically like this. Yep. It'll fit perfect. So yeah, that is the plan. Okay, so I did say I was gonna start doing the shock tabs next, but these are actually 3-inch tube. I could grind it down, but I'd rather not, so I just went ahead and ordered some Skies off-road 3.5 shock mounts instead of using this one, so I'll probably just hang on to this or sell it to somebody who might need it in the future, or I'll just hang on to it, whatever. As far as this is concerned, I ended up cutting it just a little bit more. I didn't want it sticking out like 1/2 inch or 1 inch. It was way too much, so I grinded it down a lot more because I didn't want to lose too much ground clearance, but I did want to have that protection, so I did end up welding that little piece there, that little piece of ring. So I cut it just a little more, a lot lower. So I did put this on, and it, of course, I used some anti-seize, but it worked just fine. So there you have it. It can go down a lot more. Yeah, so it can go more if I ooga-dooga it too much, but I don't want to do that. I already did that earlier and kind of stripped it a little bit, but not too much, so I don't want to over torque it. So I'll do that once I fill this in. But yes, as you saw there, it's definitely gotta be enough coverage where this whole thing is not gonna be affected too much. So yeah, worked out just fine. See, learned my lesson using anti-seize whenever you weld anything hot around a surface and you're gonna use threads. Alright, next up, I'm gonna have these lower shock mounts from Skies Off-Road Design. They're gonna get mounted here. Oh, actually, this is the wrong side. This is the one I'm gonna use on that side. So I got the one that's a little bit angled, and the reason why I'm gonna give this a try is because I have noticed, at least on my Tacoma, that the lower shock mounts are kind of canted anyway naturally, and I did ask AccuTune if that would be an issue. As you see there, it is a little bit canted anyway, so thought I'd give it a try. It shouldn't cause any binding. And if it does, then I can always change them out. But for now, we're going to give that a try. Well, the moment of truth. I think we're good. 2 inches right there. Right? Just right there. What else can I say? I mean, these are all basically parallel to each other. So these were even. So now these match these. These match these as far as that goes. So not bad. Again, I'm not the best welder, but that's gonna hold. So I'll take it. Not bad for backyard welder. But on to the next one. Okay, gang. So I had to drill a hole right there because Rough Stuff shipped this to me without the differential vent tapped and drilled, so I had to drill it. So I'm gonna clean this up and then I'm gonna go ahead and tap it. Alright, here's my handy dandy work on the weld. Did that. Did all that. Yeah. Again, not the best work, but it'll hold. Just a little stuff. Same on that side. So anyway, I just cover this up with paint. Tape for painting. I'm gonna get ready to paint it. The first thing I'm gonna do is weld on some tabs where I'm gonna put the brake line. Probably gonna put it behind here somewhere. Brought it this way. Depends on where the brakes end up, the calipers. So yeah, that is the plan. Almost there. Okay, first set of coat is in. Wait another 30 minutes. Then I'll do another coat. Might go with 2 or 3 coats. Probably 3 coats. Yeah, maybe 2 coats. We'll see how it goes after the second coat. Huge update. Got the axle housing on, and look how beefy it is. It's beautiful. Lined it up, everything lined up perfectly. Got the angle for the pinion the right way. So it should look good. I lined everything up, torqued up all the U-bolts, both sides, put on the bump stops, and so far so good. Now I went ahead and put the heavy third member here on the transmission jack, which is what I use to set up the axle housing because it was super heavy. So I am using this now as well. Strapped it down using the transmission jack strap. Keep it tight, and I'm gonna jack it up once I get over there to line it up and put it on. And I'm gonna be using obviously the seal that's here, so I gotta take that out. I've had it forever from Toyota. That's the seal for the axle shaft later. But this is the third member gasket that I'm going to put on the axle housing. And I'm going to use some of the RTV from, I think I still have a little bit left of the right stuff. Might need a new one. I think this is done. So yeah, I still have an extra one. so I'll use that. This is the right stuff. And then we should be set. Eon is helping me out and knocking this out so I don't waste any more time. The goal is hopefully to get it off the jack stands today. But you know, he's hooking up the wiring for the e-brake. Obviously the e-brake I've already mocked up in that last segment there. So yeah, that's what it's going to be. So once he wires up the power, we're going to go ahead and test it, make sure that it's good. And from there, I'll go ahead and install the axle shafts, and then the disc brakes, and then the rotors, the calipers, and fill up the axle housing with diff fluid, and then bleed out the brakes, and yeah, we're set. Okay, I'm 90% there. Rotors are on, calipers on, the bracket is on, all the lines are plumbed. Everything's good to go. Do a little bit of a fresh paint again. Obviously the brake fluid ruined the new paint, so I threw another fresh coat of paint just on the middle part. But yeah, as you can see, everything is plumbed up. We got the axle breather, we got the brake line, and then the e-brake. And one thing I haven't mentioned yet is that right there, which is the Marlin crawler e-locker guard. The stud coming from the axle housing to the third member is a bit too long, so it's making contact. So what I did is I just tightened it down enough to where, as you can see, it's not snug all the way in, which is fine. You know, just wanted to maybe cut that in the future, I don't know, or kind of just make a little, grind it a little bit here inside so that it wouldn't touch the stud. I haven't decided what to do, but I'm gonna let it ride for now. So yep, 90% there. I just need to bleed the brakes and connect the e-brake, and that's pretty much it. Just bleed out the brakes and the e-brake. And oh well, I gotta put the suspension back, which is easy, and then put some nitrogen on them. Whew, I'm dehydrated, that's why I sound like this. But the shocks are here, right there. Those are shocks, and after that, we'll be set. So I'm really excited. Did a lot of work. Fuck, man. I went through 1, 2, 3, 4, fucking 4 sets. Well, seven axle seals. Holy fuck. I finally got it to seat over here. So I tried freezing it, and you know, obviously I used a seal driver, but I finally got them seated in, these axle seals. piece of shit. Well, actually, it's not the axle seals, but rather the damn tolerance on those axle flanges. So I'm a little bit pissed. It took a couple of days to get it done, but you gotta use one of these obviously to make it happen. But freezing didn't work. I froze it for 2 days straight. It still didn't work. So it's so tight in there that the only way to do it is to grind it down. But it's so tight. It's so tight that I grinded it down several times each side, and you know, I still went through a couple of them. Like this one right here, you can see I grinded this down. Well, not this one. Hold on, I'll tell you which one. Yep, this one got grinded down. This one got grinded down. This one got grinded down. It still didn't fit. So the key is to just keep grinding it, and don't try to force it. But eventually, you know, I just kept grinding and grinding and finally got there. And even when I still got it in there, it was a tight fit. So I guess it's safe to say I'm never going to have any axle leak at all, because the tolerance is so tight. So I guess that's that. Compared to the OEM one, right? You know, it looks like you could at least, you know, kind of seat it there before you pound it in. Anyway, next step now is to finally install these axle shafts. Let's see. Alright, we're at the final touches of this. So Aeon helped me put this together. Essentially, this is the circuit breaker right here, and then it's hard to see that, but that's he tapped into the horn fuse with this connector here, and there's a circuit breaker right there. So tucked away, nice and tucked away from everything. Okay, and then the wires were routed here. You see this white wire? I routed it under here, right here, under the carpet over there, and now I'm about to go to the back. And once I meet that, I'm going to use these connectors here, plug it into the respective color. This one that's black, this one that's red, and then it's going to go to one of these connectors that are going to go down to that actuator for the e-brake from Range Industries. Almost there. Okay, the project finally came to a resounding end. So, okay, I'll show you this. Lock it. By the way, this is an aftermarket one that didn't come from Range Industries. This is to lock it and park the e-brake. Takes a while for, I know it says that, but once you hear that straining, that's done. Don't force it. It'll stop. And then obviously to release, releasing is up, and once you hear the straining, you stop. There you go. That's it. So that's that. So I'll do a little walk around of the vehicle. Obviously, you guys know I did a lot of work up front. I basically renewed the whole control arm. You can see it's fresh Johnny joints, both sides, right? You can see that, fresh, and everything that I've done in the rear, this whole complete rear setup, everything in there. It's a beauty. Got the shocks in there. Ride height is showing about 5.5, both sides, which is ideal. AccuTune says at least 4 inches of shock shaft showing. Leaf springs look good. They're not sagging, and even from this view up here, it's kind of hard to see, but you could tell there's the rake in there, and my driver is actually kind of slanted, so it's hard to see it. But even if I loaded it up with equipment when I go, you know, a long distance and camping and stuff like that, obviously it's, even if it sags a little bit by about 1 inch, it's good to go. So that is it. This project is done. Thanks for watching.